Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. A lot of people here. So, my name is Or Ofer, and I'm the CEO and founder of SimilarWeb. And as I'm speaking on growth stage today, me and my team sat and thought how we can tell you interesting stuff about growth and connect with the conference. So we decided to look on our data. And when I say our data, I'm going to tell you what we do. So we are market intelligence. We basically see everything happening in the digital world. So we have a lot of data. I'm going to tell you a second. So we decided to choose 3 companies that are here in the conference, Booking.com, Periscope, and Reddit, and show you how we're seeing their growth from our eyes with our data. So let's begin. So who we are, it's a context to tell you in order to understand how we're having the data I'm going to share with you today. So we are the leading market intelligent company of the digital world. We are 300 employees. We raised $65 million. And what basically it means that we are market intelligent. Basically, let's see. Yeah. So basically it means that we have data for every website and every app out there, meaning that we can tell you how much traffic every website gets, how it's getting the traffic. The same for apps. So we can tell you how many install base every app have, and how many users are using those apps. And we're doing it worldwide. So just a few examples in order for you to understand how it looks like. This is our free website that everybody can go and ask, so who are the biggest news and media website in Netherlands? And it gives you a nice list of all the biggest websites, and you can see that the number 1 is telegraph.nl. And then you can ask the website, so tell us a little bit more about traffic.nl, and he can tell you, okay, traffic.nl is ranked globally 1,162 in the world, is the most used, 12 used website in Netherlands, etc. And you can see down below that we're seeing that he have around 40 million visits every month, and they're spending 12 minutes. So this was a nice example about website, and we do the same thing for apps, so we can ask the websites, like, show me what is the most used financial apps in Netherlands, and you can see a nice list, and the most used is ING app. Now that I told you what we do for a living, I'm going to start talking about what we're seeing from our eyes in the digital world. So what we're seeing, that there is a nice, interesting phenomenon of becoming more and more consolidated. What that mean? It means that we're seeing a massive monsters that basically control the digital world. And just to give you this example, you can see that those 5 websites, Google, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Amazon, are in charge of more than 40% of the entire internet traffic worldwide. And if you look on Netherlands itself, you see that 1 of every 5 online visits going either to Google or either to Facebook. And if you look on the travel industry, you can see 1 of every 7 visits for shopping websites around the world are going to Amazon. So what basically understand that our world dominated by very strong monsters. So the big question is how you can create sustainable growth in this very hostile environment. And I think that in this conference, we have those great examples of those 3 companies I'm going to speak today that basically are able to build a very nice growth business. Booking.com, how they consolidate their industry, Periscope, and of course, Reddit. And let's begin with the nice example I want to share with you today. So the first example I'm going to speak is about Booking.com, planet Earth #1 accommodation site. And Booking.com is part of a bigger group that called Priceline Group that have a massive brand like Kayak, Aguda, OpenTable, and etc. And when you start looking on the entire travel industry, you can see that 1 of every 5 visits that are going into the travel industry online, visiting 1 of those 3 websites. Priceline, TripAdvisor, or Expedia. And you can see how big Priceline compared to all the other players, basically very dominant player in this market. And if you look only on Booking.com, look how strong Booking.com is. 1 of every 10 visits in travel industry worldwide go through Booking.com. And if you look only on the US traffic, you can see that 1 of every 7 travel visits in the US going into Booking.com. And we decided to show you this nice map that you don't see it that clearly, but we decided to mark every country where Booking.com is one of the top 3 dominate websites out there. And it's basically show you how strong world domination have around the world. Now, the second company I want to talk about you today is Periscope. So Periscope is a very interesting example for you here that don't know what Periscope is. It's basically an app for live stream video on the Twitter platform, and that's been acquired by Twitter. Now, when Periscope launched their product, there was another player that were doing something very similar called Meerkat. Meerkat was doing very big noise. It got a lot of traction and engagement, and of course, and also it's an Israeli startup, and I'm from Israel, so I'm very well familiar with their story. So they were operating in the market, and the interesting thing that when Periscope launched their app, and was backed by Twitter, we saw this amazing example. So look how it's look from our eyes when a giant like Twitter decided to push you when you launch your product. And look on this very interesting graph that's showing you the current installs on Android device and the difference between Meerkat and Periscope. What you're seeing here, that Meerkat was there, have a nice graph, but then Periscope decided to launch. You can see like basically overcome Meerkat like in less than a week and growing up like crazy. So I'm going to try to go, and of course, most of this growth comes through Twitter, pushing it very aggressively in order to dominate this market of live stream video on the Twitter platform. So we decided to share with you interesting insight about Periscope growth that we saw. So this slide here, showing you something very interesting about the ability of Twitter to push to their audience a Periscope app. So we looked on the current installs Android device in the United States, and we saw that 10% of all the Android devices that have the Twitter app also installed the Periscope app, meaning that Twitter was doing great work in able to taking the current users and also convincing them to install this second app for live streaming. And now I'm going to try to talk with you about another insight we saw about how Periscope getting this massive amount of growth and traffic. So we decided to look on the Google Play page of Periscope to understand how users are arriving to this page and basically downloading the Periscope app. So we saw that the massive amount of the traffic arriving to the Periscope app come from referrals, meaning that there was websites out there pushing a lot amount of traffic into the app to download it. So we went back, and I'm going to show you now all the chain flow of traffic that basically going to install. So we saw that the massive amount of the traffic, of course, come from Periscope websites. So people arrived to Periscope homepage and then was going through to the app to download it. So we decided to look and see where Periscope was getting most of the traffic. So of course, you can see that the majority of all the traffic come from social, although a big chunk of it come from referrals, but social was the main traffic for this website. And of course, if you look on the social, it's coming from Twitter. So we saw this nice flow of Twitter heavily pushing users into Periscope website, into their homepage, and from there to the Google Play, and then installing the app. So we decided also look on the Periscope website to see if we can identify more interesting insights. So the two nice things occurred. So the first one that not only in this aggressive campaign of Twitter, they also went with very aggressive PR campaign, and we saw all those great publications like The Guardian, Wired, the Next Web itself, putting a lot of articles about Periscope and pushing a lot of users into the websites. But from the other side, we saw a very interesting thing. We saw a lot of industries that are very related to video, like video games and adult, also pushing a lot of traffic to Periscope website, probably using their technology for live streaming video. And this example was very nice to see how Periscope using this technology basically to build a nice ecosystem for their technology for other industries to using it and getting more installs. And when we try to look what other websites around this ecosystem, we found those very nice examples of websites that basically build services around the Periscope technology. So this nice example here is you see the Periscope. That is a website that aggregates a lot of live stream video of recipes. And down below here, you have another aggregator for live streaming for the Russian market, and another nice aggregator of live streaming in the Turkey market. So we saw this very nice example that they build great technology, and Twitter pushed it aggressively, and also build a great ecosystem around it to help them grow and sustain this growth. And moving forward to my last example for today, and one of my favorite websites, it's Reddit. And what I discovered that not a lot of people are aware of Reddit or know about it, but I'm going to tell you that something very unique, that Reddit is big. And if you ask me how big, I'm going to show you through our data how crazy big it is. Reddit is ranked number 25 website in the world, meaning there's only 24 websites out there that are bigger than him. Is ranked number 11 in the United States, and the sixth number biggest social network in the world. Last month, in April, humanity spent 18,000 years of time in Reddit itself. We saw there more than 700 million visits. They spent almost 30 minutes, and they did almost 9 pages per user, highly engaged users. And not only that, we're seeing all this traffic that arriving to Reddit, we can see how Reddit become a massive power of sending traffic out there to websites. So we tried to look from all the social network that's sending traffic out. We saw that Reddit is the second social traffic driver in the world after Facebook. Meaning you're buying a lot of traffic from Facebook, but you have also Reddit that's sending enormous amount of traffic out. And if you look on the entire social traffic, it's almost 10% of the worldwide traffic going out of social network is going through Reddit. And if you look only in the US alone, 1 out of every 4 social traffic go for Reddit. 25% of all the social traffic going out in the US is going for Reddit. Now, you see all this massive amount of users and the highly engaged users. So basically, what you understand that Reddit found a very amazing fit for their audience. Basically, they have a highly engaged audience. And we decided to dig a little bit more there to show you how we're seeing traffic arriving to Reddit and where you're living Reddit, to show you the type of audience that we're seeing on the Reddit platform. So I will start with show you where traffic arriving to Reddit, to this social network. Okay, so the third of all the traffic arriving to Reddit come from those 3 interesting industries: adult, gaming, and file sharing. All of them are correlate very strongly with young techie geeks, males, of course. That is very interesting. So now I'm going to try to show you where the traffic of Reddit is living to. And where we look at that, you can see that Reddit is pushing traffic heavily to the TV video industry. That is more than 42% of all the social traffic arriving to this industry coming from Reddit. You look on the gaming category, you see that Reddit is in charge of 43% of all the social traffic that coming to this industry. And the last one is the file sharing. Look at that. 90% of all the social traffic the file sharing industry received, that is almost 75 million visits a month, come from Reddit. And to finish my presentation today, we decided to show you a nice example of websites that basically are very heavily depend on the Reddit traffic. So this nice example of this image website, Imgur, that 60% of all its traffic arriving from Reddit. Second example is this nice streaming website that 54% of all of social traffic is coming to Reddit. And I'm going to finish my conversation with this, my favorite example, this porn website. Maybe raise your hand, everybody using it. I'm joking. Hex Hamster, one of the biggest porn websites in the internet, 91% of all the social traffic that he received come from Reddit. So thank you, everyone, for seeing our insight about those 3 players. I hope you enjoy my presentation.